The Shark Deck.
I'm Johnny Mac with 5 good news stories. Congratulations to Jamie. She got married at the White Castle. Now, I know you're probably like me and thinking like, all right, this could be a wacky fast food story. No, it's actually a very sweet story. You see, when Jamie was 12 years old, she was out on her own. She said, I was in 94, think about that number, 94 foster homes, 6 shelters, a group home, and a treatment center, and they ran out of places to keep me. There were no beds, and by that time, I realized the system was probably going to kill me, so I took off on my own. Jamie said, I was born to 2 adults who really should have had to apply for a license in order to procreate. The Arizona Children's Protection Services system in the 80s was really bad, like really, really bad. I'd been running away for a few years prior. By the time I was 12, I figured out how to not run back into the system and how to stay out. She said, I'd been hungry for over a week when I came across my first White Castle. She can't remember exactly where it was, somewhere in the South. I walked into the White Castle, the first one I'd ever seen. The woman goes, oh, you poor thing. You go in that bathroom and get yourself cleaned up. So I did. I cried in the bathroom because I was being treated like a human. The White Castle woman bagged every burger cooking on the grill and gave it to Jamie. She said she was just going to throw them out anyway, so it was best to go feed somebody. Every time after that, when I saw White Castle, I knew it was somewhere that would be safe to run to, and if I was starving, I'd be able to get fed. Fast forward to modern times. She was getting married and said there was only one acceptable location, White Castle, and the one they picked has a kitchen that can churn out food for 200 guests with ease. During the reception, guests ate cheesecake on a stick and a literal mountain of sliders. The couple also had a giant slider cake made for the event. A suit at White Castle says, Jamie's story serves as a reminder of the power of kindness and being there for one another as we keep focus on our purpose of feeding the souls of craver generations everywhere. Gotta get the corporate speak in, right? Hey, a window cleaner has become an online sensation after pressure washing his hometown's pavements. Could you have done my house this weekend? That's what I did all day on Sunday. Andrew Carr was fed up with the streets in his town. They're covered in gum and dog poo, and he couldn't take it anymore. Carr said, every paving slab was covered in chewing gum. There was a dog mess. It was a sad sight. Right then and there, I set myself a goal of cleaning the center of town up. I thought to myself that everybody complains about dog mess and chewing gum, but nobody does anything about it. I contacted the town council and said I wanted to clean the paths up, and they were like, yeah, sure. Good news for Chuk, an 11-year-old elephant living in Cambodia. Chuk has received a 44-pound prosthetic foot made out of recycled car tires and tow truck straps. Poor Chuk's foot had to be amputated after it was caught in a poacher's snare, rotten. But thanks to some $1,450 in funding every year from Paradise Wildlife Park in the UK, Chuk gets a new prosthetic every 6 months, which allows him to walk, swim, and even run without difficulty. Cam runs the Paradise Wildlife Park and said because he's still growing, it needs replacing often, and we've been sending payments to cover that. They're made out of recycled rubber and some Velcro to tie it up. The keepers use a little contraption to isolate his leg in order to attach the prosthetic, but Chuk helps along as if he were a human putting on a shoe, and he's rewarded at the end with a big, juicy coconut. Hey, good news if you've got a bunch of dirty diapers laying around. I don't know why you'd keep them around, but if you do, we can use them to replace some of the sand and concrete. Yeah, why not? You see, disposable diapers are usually made from wood pulp, cotton, rayon, and things like polyester, and because of that, not to mention, what they're used for, they wind up in landfills. However, the folks at the School of Environmental Engineering in Japan have worked with some colleagues to prepare concrete and mortar samples by combining washed, dried, and shredded disposable diaper waste with cement, gravel, and water, so we won't need as much sand. And good news, if you sell cheese, you're probably not going to go out of business thanks to Mark King. Mark will put an entire block of cheese into a sandwich and would happily eat 4 a day if his wife, Tracy, would let him. He eats cheese with every meal, but he doesn't do macaroni and cheese because it's not cheesy enough for him. Tracy said, my husband probably eats the most amount of cheese that's humanly possible. He has 2 packs a day. He would eat a lot more, but I've calmed him down. I got a bit out of control, to be honest. I did a video on my TikTok account. I got millions of views and thousands of comments saying he'll have a heart attack and all that because of the cheese, but he's very healthy. I don't think he'll have a heart attack. He's so muscular. I took him to the GP for bloods and all that, and everything came back perfect. When we met 25 years ago, he was doing the sandwiches. His favorite is a block of cheese in between 2 pieces of bread. He cuts it up. He has it with Marmite, mayonnaise, and white pepper. Also, he doesn't like nachos. That's your 5 good news stories for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your shows. Cheese.